On today's video, let's talk about equipment, the best equipment sets for archers. In this video, we'll go over two different sets, a starter set, a cheaper set, one that you can get for any primary commander of archers that you have that you don't want to invest too heavily on, as well as if you want to continue your journey to the best possible set in the game. That's the second one we'll go over in this video. We're going to go over every single piece of equipment, explain why we picked it, show you how to get the blueprints, and talk about everything you need to know so you optimize every single stat of equipment in Rise of Kingdoms so you don't miss any action and have the best available gear throughout time. So sit back, drop a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today, let's talk about archer equipment. In this video, as we mentioned, two sets, like we did in the previous two types of infantry and cavalry sets. If you haven't seen those videos, carded up on the top right, both of them. There's also a playlist in the description down below with all the equipment videos that we'll make in the future as well. As of the time this video is uploaded, there's probably going to be another update out, the Osiris Invitational, update 33. If there's more equipment that comes out with that update, we'll make a video about that and whether or not it changes any of our sets. So for you not to miss that kind of content, you want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell down below so you know when I upload a new video. 56% of you are not subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? So let's get straight into it. These are the two sets right here. You have the cheaper one up on the top and the dream one down below. You can see a huge difference in the time of crafting it takes. So let's start off with the basics. When you create materials in Rise of Kingdoms, 10 materials of the lowest grade, which is the gray grade, take you about 3 hours worth of crafting. From there, you can, with every 4 of each type, upgrade to the next type. And so when we talk about days it takes to craft, I mean the amount of days in which you are creating the exact material needed for the particular piece of equipment, and you're continually doing it as you can queue 5 different queues of materials, 15 hours worth of creating materials total. Want to keep updating those. Usually folks think that it's better to go for the top items first. I completely disagree. It'll take you 72 long days to get any of these epic equipment pieces right here, while the whole cheaper set takes only 56 days. The difference in stats is 12 plus 5, 17% stats compared to 5% of stats. 8% at 80 days, that golden age juicy thing, you still get 9% more for much less days worth of crafting. So the strategy is start with the cheaper stuff. You can always dismantle it and then go for the big boy stuff. Let's go look at every single piece of equipment as well as how to get it and all that good stuff. Let's start with a weapon. If you're someone who spends a lot of money on the game, in VIP 16, you can buy yourself a Trial of the Lost Kingdom. It's a nice piece of equipment, much better for cavalry. But quite frankly, it's okay for archers. You have purple equipment that does better than that. If you go take a peek at the Heart of Saint, 6% health is very much more favorable. The problem with this piece of equipment is that on top of it costing 100 materials, pretty much like every other epic equipment in this category, to get blueprints, you need to get lucky in the Ancient Ruins or Altar of Darkness in Lost Kingdom, in which when stalkers, there's two types of mobs that appear there. Stalkers every 5 minutes, and I believe every 15 minutes a big boss shows up which drops gifts. One of those gifts can be one of these blueprints. As you can see, I got fairly lucky. I picked up 2 of these. They'll be made at some point, but for now, our focus for archers when it comes to the top tier weapon is Golden Age. 8% worth of stats. 8% defense is actually nuts. The disadvantage of Golden Age is the way you achieve its blueprint is through Sunset Canyon chests. You play Sunset Canyon, you get a chest for either win or lose, you open it, hope and pray, and after 30 fragments, you'll be able to get a blueprint. Spoiler alert, it takes forever. It's a very, very hard piece of equipment to get. I'm lucky that I have one of them. It didn't special talent, working on the second one as we speak. This is the top tier, best piece of equipment you can get for archers when it comes to a weapon. But there's, of course, a secondary one you can go with, which will give you a good amount of stats as well. And that is the Staff of the Lost. 9 of them as you get them also from Sunset Canyon, and much more of them. As you can see, we have 9 available. This piece of equipment gives you 5% defense, which is up to par with the 5% attack. Of course, attack would be better at this point than defense. But at 5% from a blue piece of equipment, that's not bad at all. And getting its equipment blueprint is fairly easy. Just do Sunset Canyons, win or lose, it doesn't matter. Open the chests and you should be able to get this fairly quickly. There are potentially a couple of options here. If you want to go with Blessed Blade early on instead of going for this blue piece of equipment, you could do that. There is, I believe, one piece of equipment that is similar between the two. So you could start with a Blessed Blade, which you get out of Ian's Ballad, no matter which difficulty you do. 4% attack, and then later on upgrade to a 5% Staff of the Lost. This is where I would stop in theory if you're looking to just settle. And if you want to go big boy style, this is the next big thing, and it's better than everything else in here. Let's go take a look at our 2 sets once more, and this time go towards the helmets. In this department, we have again a purple helmet and a green helmet. That's right, but that green helmet is a little annoying. The purple helmet is a revival helmet. Now, honestly, this comes out of Ian's Ballad, Nightmare in Hell as well. It's going to be a bit difficult to get it. We haven't been seeing Ian's Ballad happen more than once yet, so we don't know how many times it happens and at what frequency. So getting to here is going to take some time. At 5% archer defense, this is not bad at all. The Abyssal Visage gives you 3% attack, but as I was told by Deathstroke, thank you Deathstroke, these quest types of blueprints come from the quest line where you need to either craft equipment, dismantle equipment, and do all these different things, create materials, upgrade materials, downgrade materials. And when you do those, you end up getting a bunch of these blueprints. The Abyssal Visage is one that you only get 2 of. And quite frankly, I wouldn't go for the archers in here. And so I would stick with the Revival Helmet for the top end once you get this blueprint. Other than that, we're starting to march our way down. No archers, no archers, no archers until here, 2% archer defense. For the record, infantry attack. So this is the only next thing you have available. The thing about this is, although I do have 7 blueprints because I hunted my life out when I was looking for Dark Lord Blessings, you get it through either Holy Site Guardians, so any type of Guardian can drop this, Sanctums, Altars, or Shrines. You can just go around your kingdom and hunt those and you'll find a few of these helmets. Or through Barbarian camps and keeps and all that good stuff. This piece of equipment is one that you can get a bunch of blueprints out of if you grind the game a little bit, and you can get it to a special talent very easy. The way you special talent a piece of equipment is by simply forging it, hoping and praying, and if you get lucky, you'll get to pick one talent tree to which, if the commander has that talent tree, you'll get an extra 30% of attributes. So if you were to make this for an archer, I believe this would be 2.5% defense. So again, you can start here. You'll most likely stay in here for a while and then work your way this way. That's the recommended path for archer helmets. Our next piece of equipment is a chest piece. In here, once more, we're going with a purple epic piece of equipment as the top end and a blue one for the we'd call it the cheaper version, the initial version, and that is right here. So for the legendary parts, Shadow Legion can give you 5% attack. Problem is, you gotta wait a lot of Shadow Legion events until you can get it. The way you get it is through opening Shadow Legion chests, which you get as you complete the event, and you'll get probably 2 or 3 of these every time. Good luck with that. Milky Way is kind of an event-based one, which I believe this was an old Soroli Crisis or something like that. I don't really remember where you get this from, but an archer 6% health. This is not bad at all. However, 60 equipment and materials, legendary materials to make this. That's over 128 days worth of crafting just for 6% health. I don't recommend this at all. What I do recommend, however, is not the 4% archer attack from the Robe of the Forest Guardian, but you have 4% Quinn's Soul available worth of health. Quinsoul you can get through Shadow Legion as well, and as you can see, it's a bit more feasible. But if you're really willing to grind, or you get lucky in Ian's Ballad, you have these two pieces of equipment which are the same exact stat, except that this one will have its revival set extra boosts, while this nightmare of a piece of equipment does not have that. If you get lucky enough during Ian's Ballad and you manage to pick up one of these, definitely recommended, definitely recommended. And you can start building up towards your set. Once you also get the helmet, you'll get an extra 2% troop attack, which is awesome. But it's not that easy to get this piece of equipment worth of blueprint. Unfortunately, so isn't the Dark Lord's Blessing, which you get out of barbarian camps and keeps. And trust me when I tell you, I hunted for this for months till I got the first one. And I believe I'm like 15 or between 15 and 20 pieces of fragments of this for the second one, as I didn't special talent mine. Oof, that was rough. But this is the ultimate one. Now, here's a small catch, right? As long as you make this and it's not special talent, you can very easily swap it to your cavalry commander as well. If you decide that you want to swap between archers and cavalry and have a little bit of a better piece of equipment for cavalry, same goes for this. But once you get the special talent, you got to pick one, and that's the one that'll be the better choice. This is for the top end best available gear. Again, you can go this way and get the 6% health. I don't think this is a wise choice, as it'll take you more than double the time than it takes you to build for this. The next best thing you have in here really is none of these, because as you can see, there's 2% archer in this, but 3% archer attack in chainmail becomes interesting, because even the chainmail is better than this, right? And it's much cheaper. We're talking 80 regular pieces of material, which is 24 hours worth of crafting, compared to 80 green materials, which is 4 times the time. For an extra percent, this is not a bad start at all. You'll get a bunch of them through Courier Station, Ian's Ballad, all this good stuff through the quests. You get a bunch of these. But the Commander Heavy Armor is the really interesting one. It's because it gives you 3% as well, but on the health side. You could have both of these available. You could go with this at special talent to have the archer attack plus special talent. If you manage to special talent this is better. And the likelihood of you getting a special talent on this is much bigger, as you can continually make these until you get it. This one, on the other hand, you only get through the quest line, and you have a very limited amount of these blueprints. And I don't know whether or not you can get more of them as of right now. Hopefully we'll be able to in the future. But truthfully, this is the better piece, and I did write it down as the better one in the set. But once more, you can go this way, special talent this, and definitely get away with it for this a 16th of the price. So you could even make this cheaper by simply having, I think it's a day's worth rather than 14 days worth of crafting. It's actually a very substantial difference, 14 times. So yeah, I don't know. I think that you can go this way and you're good. If you're looking for the best, cheaper version, that right there will give you the 3% health. You can go for 3% attack as well, not a problem at all. Our next piece of equipment in our materials, in our equipment guide for archers, best set of equipment for archers. Again, if you enjoy the content, drop a like on the video. I'd appreciate that very much. Helps me, helps out the channel, lets me know that you're enjoying and liking the content. Our next set is the gloves, and the gloves actually bring us to the first yellow equipment, and that is the Ian's Choice blueprint. Now, spoiler alert, Shadow Legion, just like the Shadow Legion armor plate, good luck with that, but 8% archer attack, ooh-wee, that's a lot of attack. Now, granted, you have in here 5%, and this might be a bit easier if you get lucky in Lost Temple Guardians. I doubt you'll get lucky, and remember, once you craft a legendary equipment, to dismantle it costs you a lot of equipment pieces, so of materials, so you don't want to do that. Ian's Choice is the way to go. Unfortunately, getting the blueprint is ridiculously hard, and on top of that, 128 long days worth of making materials just to get 8%. Oof. Heavy, but I know some people out there who already have this through the power of Visa. That's right. or MasterCard or Amex, not judge it. If we keep going down the path of these pieces of equipment, you'll notice that Archer defense at 2% for a purple piece is a joke. Nothing in Archers in here, nothing in Archers in here, nothing Archers in here. 1% out of a blue piece of glove is really ridiculous. And then you get to here, 2% health for a green piece of equipment. I'll take it. Definitely feasible. You definitely can get it done. The extra quick little 2%, it'll take about 2.5 days worth of crafting materials to get this done. Unfortunately, the way you get this blueprint is through barbarian keeps and camps. You're gonna have to grind. And even more unfortunate is that now they drop in one piece, or if you get any of these, you can get potentially like 15 pieces of fragments of blueprints. It really sucks. Back in the day, it would drop a full piece of equipment blueprint. Lilith, bring that back. No point in pieces when it comes to the green equipment. Come on. But this is the better, cheaper Archer gloves. I have one spare that I need to figure out what to do with, but it's doable and it's very good. 2% of stats. Again, you get 2% out of 1% out of this, which is ridiculous. 2% out of which one? This one, which is ridiculous. This is defense. This is health. Go with that. Try to special talent it if you can get the blueprints. 2 thumbs up. Let's go back to our equipment set. We're now at the pants level. We're almost done. This and one more. And so the pants. The pants is an interesting category because in here, once more, you have, at least at this level, you have 5% Archer defense. But when you look at Karak Humility, you have 0 Archer stats. The Gladiator, however, gives you 4% defense. Going for this would mean that you cannot go for Shio's shoes, which I'll explain to you why in a moment. But at 5% defense versus 4% defense, this is going to take you over 128 days worth of crafting materials, while this one will take you only 72. I know 72 is still a lot, but it's much, much better than 128 plus. At 4% stats, the Gladiator is achievable through Shadow Legion Invasion. As you can see, I have 2 of these blueprints. It is doable to get them. It's going to take you a little bit, but you will get there. And once you do, very, very good 4% Archer defense for you. That's the top end when it comes to a piece of equipment. As you can see, 5% could be nice, but there is a catch about this, which we'll explain in the next equipment piece. When we keep going down, you'll see that you have Archer defense 3% when it comes to the Greaves of Exile, and this is the lower end best piece of equipment. Why? Quite simple. You get 4% out of 90 purple pieces of material compared to less, what's the 70%, 70 pieces, wow, of blue equipment materials. Today is not my day, it's actually super late. And you can get a ton of these blueprints. Sunset Cannon chests, drop them by the bucket loads. Again, play Sunset Cannon as much as you can, open the chests, easy peasy, 3% Archer defense, get that special talent. It goes up to 4%. It's just like a regular this one. You can try to go for this and try to special talent it. You don't have to, quite frankly. If you want to get away with not doing this, but doing that instead and keeping it on the top tier with this, it'll drop your total production day by a lot. It'll drop your total production day by about 58 days. So it drops down the total days of that top end piece of equipment set to less than 500 days. So this is exactly what you want, and you can keep it forever as long as I'm concerned. No Archers, 2% Archer defense, you get 3 in here. You could go with this as well. Lohars, drop this. If you're hunting for Lohars already because you need Lohars, or you're hunting for another piece of equipment that comes out of Lohar, which is, I believe, this one right here, then you could get away, definitely could get away with going for this for only 2% of the stats. And it is indeed cheaper, 70 green pieces. Again, we're going for the best available, which would be this one right here. If we keep scrolling down, no Archers, no Archers. Keep in mind, by the way, damage to barbarians, plus 3% in here. In here you get experience for commanders, which at some point might be irrelevant compared to this stat. And in here as well, that stat exists plus 5%. This is why I prefer this as the top end. Not because, you know, it's more expensive, but you have the ability of this, which little by little, as you go to try to end up top 20 in honor in Lost Kingdom, or you're hunting barbarians in an event, this will help you a lot, especially in those events that you gotta crank out barbarians really quickly. The final piece of equipment in our set are the shoes. And in here, we go from top to bottom. It's straight up like that. You have either the best tier or the worst tier as the best possible choice. The best tier, the top end piece of equipment for archers when it comes to shoes is Shio's shoes. Now here's the catch I was talking about. Shio's shoes is achieved from Lost Canyon. And so is, let's take a look right here, and so is this right here, the Eternal Night. Problem is, unless you're someone who's at the top of Lost Canyon, and then you're getting tons of coins and then you're okay, you'll most likely have to choose between this blueprint or the Shio's shoes blueprint. I just now finished the Shio's shoes blueprint round 2. You can see I have 2 of them now. I could go for the Eternal Night. However, I doubt that I'll ever craft it. And in Lost Canyon, there is material chests that are nice that I might take instead of this. But this is an option for heavy spenders. For the record, I just prefer to first make sure you have Shio's shoes. They're much better at 5% archer health, the top end archer shoes. From there, archer health 2%, really? For a purple piece of equipment? Pass. 6% gathering is nice. Pass. No archers? No archers. Archer attack 1%? Okay. Archer defense 1%? Okay. Archer defense 2%. Huh. And gathering speed 1%. One of the first blueprints you'll ever get, one of the first pieces of equipment you'll ever craft is actually very, very viable as the lower end archer shoes. Why? I mean, look at this. This gives you the same exact number of stats. Granted, this is health and this is defense, but the price is stupendously cheaper. And quite frankly, unless you get here, this is really not worth your time. You get more percentages out of this. This is, all right, you might as well go this way. And so you go here or you go there. That's it. Now, the way I suggest crafting these equipment as someone who's starting off or is a low spender or is looking to build a second set but not really like a primary set for this is go from grays to greens to blues. Make sure that along the way you are getting as much percentage as you can as quickly as possible. The grays will take you much less time to get to. I mean, these take less than a day worth of creating materials. The green ones take 2.5 days to 3.5 days. And then you go from there to 14 days each on the blues and a 22-day one. At 56.75, less than 57 days worth of creating materials, you can have about 17% worth of stats. If you actually go the big boy route, it'll cost you pretty much 10 times that number, but you'll get about 35% worth of stats, which is actually nuts. Out of all the equipment out there, archers do get the better stats, the bigger stats. However, it's more attack and defense than health, which is one important point to figure out. Is it worth it for you to potentially swap out the pants for a Greaves of Exile? Sure, you lose a percentage on the defense right there. 1% for a bunch of days off of on your production might be a good idea. Not the worst possible outcome. Remind you that this didn't take into account, which actually is a mistake by me, the fact that you can end up with this and you can end up with this too. And when you have both of those pieces of equipment, you get troop attack 2%. So add another 2% to this, which means you can end up potentially with 37% worth of stats. With that being said, this concludes the 3 main videos of the 3 main sets of equipment. We're still going to go over gathering and a few other miscellaneous sets that you can try to build for different things. And we also are going to talk about accessories in a different video that is specific for the accessories and when to use them, how to use them, and all that good stuff. And of course, from here on out, every time new pieces of equipment come out, we will analyze them, say if they're worth it, if they're not, why, and if there is any change to our sets, we'll make sure to update you. All those videos can be found in the playlist in the description down below, the equipments playlist. Just go there, because if you got this video and it's past May of 2020, you might be a little bit outdated and you want to make sure what's the latest and greatest based on the latest video you see there. From here on out, the videos that are updates will have all 3 sets. It'll be much more condensed, just the first basics where each one video for your knowledge and comfort. From here, I'm out. I'm Gekko. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate all of you for your continuous support. We're going to keep plowing through this important information so you guys know how to make the best choices in Rise of Kingdoms for your equipment, and keep going through being the best versions of yourselves you can be when it comes to stats, war stats, among other things. I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care and have a good one. Peace.